By the way, I know you brought your yardstick in today because you wanted to see Prasad's quarantine hair, how long it had gotten, but I had him on FreightWaves Insiders a couple weeks ago. Now, I'll warn you, he has gotten a haircut.
Looks like he's got a fresh crop going on.
He's got a fresh crop. Prasad Gollapalli, CEO at Trucker Tools, is here with us now. Prasad, looking awesome as always.
Hey, thanks, Dooner. I can't believe you guys are talking about it. There are a few customers who joke about my quarantine hair.
I loved it. We loved it. We had been talked about on this show. It's part of the storyline, Prasad.
Yeah.
Speaking of storylines, I was looking online and I saw that you were targeting a key employee on LinkedIn, and I'm really curious. Were you able to give Tommy Callahan a job, and did he accept the offer?
I mean, that's the guy I want to hire. That's the guy.
Firearms are useless against the bees.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Prasad, like, go for it, brother.
Go ahead, sorry.
Well, I was gonna say,
that's
everybody knows who Trucker Tools are, but maybe for the one person in the room in the back, I see you over there who does not. Quick elevator pitch. Let's hit the button. Ding.
Trucker Tools is a software platform. We call it a carrier relationship management platform that helps brokers connect with their carriers, primarily the long tail of carriers, owner-operators, small carriers, and basically build and grow that network for efficiencies, primarily for visibility, freight visibility, and digital freight match.
Yeah, so let's talk about that a little bit. How do these relationship management softwares help the truckers, right? And what are the 3 or 4 primary benefits to these platforms?
This is when you think about carrier relationship management platforms, they are they level the field for long tail of carriers primarily, because when you think about large carriers, they have the intel on putting the right load in front of the right truck. That's how they're efficient. Their trucks are very efficient, whereas the small carriers don't have any intel. They're basically hunting every single day. And that's what makes them oftentimes very ineffective and so on and so forth. While that group has been super duper important for all of us to survive, that's the segment that's not very efficient. So carrier relationship management platforms, what they do is they'll set the level field for these guys. That's one thing. The second thing is they also change the nature of the business between a broker and a small carrier from being transactional, meaning I find a load with you today and I go to Dooner tomorrow to find another load and so on and so forth. I'm knocking on doors every day. I'm finding a new broker every day, right? Versus staying with the same broker that's relationship based. From transactional to relationship, that has a huge impact in our industry because, this is not the first time I'm being here. So we already have a rapport, right? So we talk about certain things. The same thing between a broker and a carrier, if they know each other, when the market swings this way or that way, we're talking about fuel prices being very high. So a broker can actually help the carrier too and say, hey, let me see if I can talk to my shipper and get you a little bit higher on fuel surcharge. And that extra mile they'll go because they know that carrier, when the capacity was tight, stood by that broker, right? So relationships make a huge difference for all of us.
Now, you bring up a good point, too. Yeah, we have a rapport. We have the context of the past of when we've spoken to each other. We also have to keep that in mind for the audience, too, so we don't forget that we have, we got to act like this is a new conversation a little bit for them. But let's talk about the truckers. How do you convince them to join the apps? You've convinced us because we talked before, but how about the drivers?
So the drivers, they have to lead, right? One of the things that I didn't say in my elevator pitch is, the whole platform, Trucker Tools platform, is built around our mobile app, Trucker Tools app, which is an all-in-one app that helps drivers find the cheapest fuel. We're talking about fuel all the time now. Truck stops, weigh scales, whatever they need on the road, it provides that. And that all-in-one app drives driver adoption, especially the small carrier adoption, because for small carriers, owner-operators, their app is their TMS, their smart assistant. And what we have done at Trucker Tools is, last time, Dooner, on your radio show, I shared this with you. We let drivers, small carrier truckers, tell us exactly what they want to see on our app and build that. That has been the path so far for us, and that has helped us build that. Over 1.6 million truckers on our app today.
Yeah, so Prasad, is that one of the ingredients to the secret sauce to overcoming app fatigue? There's so many different apps that are out there for drivers. Is that the secret sauce?
That is truly the thing, because if I have to use one app to find loads, one app to track loads, one app to find cheapest fuel, I'm just again becoming a transactional guy, and I've just basically moved my inefficiencies from computer to my cell phone. So all-in-one app can really help, because so think about it this way. When, let's say, I'm a trucker, I'm tracking a load for one of the brokers. So the app already knows I'm going from point A to point B, and can tell me, Prasad, you have 20 gallons of fuel in your truck. Instead of fueling here, go another 20 miles, 30 miles, and fuel here. You have better price there. So that makes a big difference. Sometimes the savings they could have is like 15, 20 bucks, or maybe, in times like this, it could be 50 bucks on a trip. That's a huge difference for these guys.
Prasad, too, when people hear trucking app, and tell me if you have to sometimes fight against this misconception, and you can inform the audience here. I think when they hear trucker app, sometimes they think, oh, is it a load board? Is it a digital freight brokerage? How does this type of tool differ from those two things?
So, we talk about a lot about load boards, right? Load boards have done a marvelous job, and for 40 years, they brought us to this point, right? But if you look at a lot of problems that are within our industry, they stem from the thought of post and pray mindset that publicly comes from load boards. Now we're moving away from load boards to digital freight matching. And I've heard a lot of companies that say digital freight matching. That's the probably most abused word in our industry now. The true nature of a digital freight matching should be putting the right load in front of the right truck. In a fraction of a second, when a trucker looks at that load, he should not go to the next load, because that load is super duper the efficient load, whether it's reducing the deadhead miles, optimizing his truck usage, putting him into a new market where he can find another better reload. It comes from this broker that he works with very well, knows he's going to get paid very soon. All the factors, and the shipper locations are super duper good where he doesn't have to wait that long. That's called intelligence. And honestly, today, I can speak for Trucker Tools, but I haven't seen anyone who truly uses these intelligent items to really create that artificially intelligent platform, or a smart platform.
Prasad, before we let you go, we'd be remiss not to ask you this, and I'm sure some brokers are curious, because if they want to get in this, how does it make them stickier? How does it help them, Prasad?
So for brokers, the post and pray is absolutely, kissing death in this world, in this decade. So a relationship-based platform where they can reuse the carrier multiple times during that month helps them lower their cost of finding a new carrier, and builds that reliability. Because when you look at a broker market, they go to big shippers and say, hey, we can aggregate 10,000, 20,000 small carriers and act as one big carrier. And they can only say that as long as these carriers stick with them. And so that's how do they create that? Build a relationship platform, right? The second thing is help these small carriers be more efficient and grow. And the only way they can do that is if they really put the right load in front of the right truck. And that's what everything boils down to.
Wow, very good, Prasad. So people who want to work with you and work with Trucker Tools, where do we send them to?
Very simple, sales@truckertools.com or marketing@truckertools.com, or on our website, if they reach out to support@truckertools.com, our team will be more than happy to help out anyone. If we can't help you, we'll tell you, hey, here is another company you can work with. But our goal is to truly help brokers and carriers.
Well, thank you so much, Prasad. Keep being the salt of the earth, my friend.
Let that hair grow, man.
Let the hair grow back? You want it back?
Next time, maybe in May when we see you in person.
I want to see a
Of course,
pony.
yes. Hey, stop by the office anytime. Stop by we got an extra seat right here. We really do. We have an extra seat.
right here.
We have one right here. People want to stop by.
But
The door's right here.
you have to have a ponytail
Right here in Chattanooga.
before you can get in there.
Well, thank you, Prasad. Thanks for joining us today,
Thank you,
sir.
guys.
Take care.